let's go over some key things to watch out for when knitting patterns. When pulling the carriage, make sure it goes past the pattern card's contact rod. Give the carriage a single pull. This helps the carriage memorize the pattern from the card. If the carriage is set pulled all the way across the contact rod, or if you open it mid-pull, the pattern will end up messy or distorted. Also keep in mind, don't pull the carriage out of the guide rail. If the carriage comes off the guide rail, the pattern will turn out messy. If the carriage goes past the guide rail, it messes up the pattern. We need to reset the carriage to memorize the pattern card again. Now let's go over what to do during knitting. When the carriage gets stuck on the fabric and won't budge, don't force the carriage in this case. Release the carriage lever. And the camel will lift, letting the carriage move forward. Once you have pulled this row, press the carriage cover. And remove the thread to undo this row. Take off the messed up part from the needles and reset the carriage to memorize the pattern card again. Now run the carriage through an empty row. Open the carriage release lever. And lock the pattern card lever. Move the carriage through one empty row, and once completed, close the carriage and place the thread at the thread guide. unlock the pattern card. Another situation arises when continuing to knit. When the carriage won't move, even after opening the carriage release lever, how should it be handled? Do not force the carriage to move. Loosen the nuts on the carriage connecting plate and remove the connecting plate. The carriage cannot reverse. Pulling in the opposite direction causes pattern disruption and dropped stitches. After moving the carriage, reattach the connecting plate. When making adjustments, remove any incorrectly knitted stitches from the needles. Now ensure the loop is inside the needle latch. Next, detach the fabric from the machine head. Remember to remove the weight now. Set the cam lever to the 0 position. When removing the fabric, avoid edge getting caught in the brush. Use your hand to guide it and move one row. Now the fabric is removed from the machine. Next, let's go over replacing damaged knitting needles. Use a thin pencil or other tools to replace the needles. The needle presser bar can be pushed from either side. Pushing from this side will make it exit the other side. Pull out the needle presser bar to the replacement position. The exposed needles lie flat on the needle bed. Next, replace the needle. Then close the latch. Then pull the shank upwards to remove the needle. Open the latch to install the needle. Insert the needle into the slot. With a spring under the needle bed, press the shank as you push the needle to position A. With the needle presser bar removed, the needles float freely in the slot. When pushing the needle presser bar, use the push plate to hold the needles down and gently reset the presser bar. That completes the needle replacement. Next, let's look at the waist yarn in the accessory box. Waist yarn is useful for starting your needles or doing scrap knitting. Let's get started. Thread the yarn through the number 1 port. Set the cam level to 0. Increase the density slightly. Now we've completed 1 row. There are 2 yarn hooks on either side of the needle bed. We place the waist yarn to secure the starting stitch outside the sinker needle's hook. Tighten the waist yarn and move the carriage 1 row. Now we can release the waist yarn. Loosen the waist yarn from the hook. And pull it out from the back. This is how to start the stitch with waist yarn. Next, we'll show how to use waist yarn to separate the scrap yarn from the fabric. First, place the waist yarn into the first feed. Adjust the density dial slightly and move the carriage. Now we self-knitted a row using the waste yarn. Next, thread the main yarn into the first yarn pot. The waste yarn separation section. The top is the main knit. The bottom is the waste knit. Remove the waste yarn. Now the waste knit is separated from the main fabric. Next, let's go over how to clean the machine. Here's the cleaning brush. Use the cleaning brush to clean while knitting and remove dust from the needles. Oiling the machine makes it a bit heavier to pull. Now we use machine oil to clean the guide rail. After adding the oil, slide the machine head back and forth a few times to spread it evenly. We also apply oil to the needle bed and the needle head cam. For upkeep. After oiling, wipe it down with a cloth. That's how the machine is cleaned.